Hi, I'm Nan Simonsen. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. I work with Blue Zones Health, a community of 300 doctors. They're all independent physicians, part of an association, as a health and wellness coach. And I believe so strongly that we have the power to live decades longer than, well, some people would or could if we exercise lifestyle as medicine and all those the ways that are part of those pillars, which is the pillar of healthy nutrition, and according to the College of Lifestyle Medicine, that is, and the blue zones. And Dan Buettner of the blue zones, that's whole food plant exclusive or plant strong. Um, Community is essential. We need to be connected to other people and prioritize that. Prioritize movement. We cannot get older without moving our body regularly and still be able to move at all, as well as stress management, as well as prioritizing sleep at least 6 to 9 hours. Well, not six, 7 to 9 hours a day are the recommendations. Well, I listened recently, as I do on a regular basis, especially when I'm cycling, to a interview of Mel Robbins with a woman, Emma Greed. And she is a British entrepreneur and investor. She's a founder, partner of several companies, Skims and Good America and Safety, which is a nonprofit urging retailers to devote 15% of shelf space to Black owned businesses. She herself is Black and grew up in no, in East London, a sort of a scrappy existence. As she said, she was raised by a single woman with four daughters. She was the oldest daughter and apparently was old enough when the other three came that she said she felt like she had a parental role during that period of time. She's just in her 30s, and yet Forbes Magazine called her um, one of the top 100 self-made women, um, top self-made women, and I don't know if it's in the world or America, but she was also recognized by major outlets as a top self-made business leader and frequent media guest. She also hosts a podcast, Aspire. It's Aspire with Emma Greed, and she has about 5,300 subscribers, and it's relatively new. She only has 100 videos in there because it's a new project of hers. So they were talking, and it was very inspiring. It was so inspiring that Mel Robin said, if you watch only one video today, this should be it. And she was so excited when they were finished that she said, I've got to get out and I've got to do something. You've really inspired me. It felt that way. And so I titled this, Anything is Possible If You Put Your Mind to It. I've got a thing though, and I'm going to share it with you. And if you have thoughts, share them with me with this video as a comment. I have I've been whole food plant-based for 8 years. Well, no, going on seven, well, no, 7 years. Uh, During the fall back in 2018 is when I converted, and my husband did too, fully converted by the beginning of the next year, 2019. And I've been a health coach since January of 2019. So again, going on 7 years. And I wrote a book, Aging Powerfully, which was published in 2020, the end of 2020, actually December 27th of 2020. And I rushed it through because I began writing in July of that year because that was a celebration to turning 70, July 9th of 2019. And yes, I'll be 25 July 9th of this year coming up, 2026. When I wrote my book, I opened up a new chapter for myself because then I began social media. Prior to that, I was just doing my health coach work at the clinic, and it's been, well, some would say fast growth, some would say slow. I call it slow when you compare it to what some people do. I have 11,100 subscribers. And I have a mission, and it was written in the first pages of this book, and that is that my mission, having realized that practicing lifestyle is medicine, having looked around at the health of the majority of Americans and people in first world countries almost everywhere who eat a modern diet, we're getting sicker by the day, and I decided that when I was turning 70, I wasn't going to see that as the beginning of old age. I was going to see that as the beginning of another 1, 2, or 3 decades of vibrant health with balance and joy in my life. And that's what I embrace. And in my social media, especially YouTube. Facebook kind of gets the overflow from whatever I do on YouTube, and I do the tiniest amount in Instagram, and that gets a overflow. I have had people help me kind of put things there that I'm not even that aware of, like the shorts that you've probably been seeing a lot of. Um, when I watched and listened to their conversation, because it's about creating a anything you want in business, um, and taking control of your success and becoming an entrepreneur and the thoughts behind that. My son calls me Mom 3.0 because I built a multi-million dollar business in Tupperware as a Tupperware franchise owner for nearly 20 years, and I was with Tupperware for nearly 27 years. So I gained confidence and gained knowledge and gained skills doing that. Then for 15 years, I had a company, Nanscapes. I had during the latter years of my working with my Tupperware company with my late husband, we had a big estate, 2.25 acres, and I was so fond of gardens that I created on that 2.25 acres such a garden, a botanic garden, everything was labeled, that we were in Sunset Magazine, which is a Western America uh, magazine. I don't even know if it's still out. I think it is, but it was really a big deal back in the 90s and earlier. Wait, gosh, that it had been around since I was born in the 50s. And so I did that 15 years of landscape design. After we sold that property, people were asking me to help them with their gardens. And I got a certification in design, actual rendering, and I began designing landscapes that I had a crew put in. So I know business. This is Nan 3.0 as a health coach. I'm not trying to build a new business at 75, but I have been, oh, uh, racking my my brains. I don't like that statement, but trying to think of what more I can do to influence and help and direct people to accept their ability to take control of their life. I see people everywhere. You know we do. 70% of Americans are overweight or obese. Our health numbers are going down tremendously. In other words, our ability to stay healthy is going down every year. Kids are getting type 2 diabetes. That's unheard of. They're finding plaque in their arteries in their 20s. Unheard of because of our standard American diet. So I am really quite obsessed with the reality that it doesn't have to be that way. And so I'm going into my 75th year in January. And I'm putting an effort right now behind whatever I'm going to do at 75 and beyond to bring that message home in any way I can. And so when I heard this, I could not apply it to a brick and mortar store or a business that I'm doing to be paid. When my husband passed away, um, from esophageal cancer in 2010, I was at that time financially independent because we had done so well in our business, although I continued to design landscapes until I got my health coaching certification and began in that field. I'd always been obsessed also with health and nutrition, and I took dietetics in college. So, all of this to say, I'm looking at 75 as another breakthrough. And at 70, I wrote a book about how to powerfully is an acronym for 10 ways to create greater health, mental strength, and happiness in our life. Now I'm looking for ways to enhance all of that. And I'm not sure where to go with it all. So that's where I'm saying if you're hearing this and you care to and you've got some thoughts, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Uh, in the meantime, while I'm doing all of this recounting of what I heard in their conversation that I enjoyed and I liked, and I'm going to put the link to their interview. Um, and the name of the interview is Anything is Possible if you put your mind to it. And I believe that with all my heart. And that's what got me. I believe that I can and should be able to have a far greater influence on people. I'm part of our Blue Zones project here in Riverside, California, the community outreach sector. I We need more power than that, part of a Blue Zones health group, but there's just got to be more we can do to stem the tide of ill health in this country. I, at 75, can do so much that is physically demanding. I lift weights. I use an app, Has Fit, HASFIT, that I love, and I use their powerlifting program, and I do that 3 times a week, and it's giving me strength, and strength physically means that you can take care of things that you can lift well, you can grab well, etc. It's practical and balance work and all of that. So I'm doing those things. I cycle the other days of the week. Um, and I think everybody in their 70s should be well enough to be physically active and really enjoy getting out in the world, not feeling the constraints of illness. And so much can be healed with lifestyle movement and those other things I talked about, and especially with diet, whole food, plant-based, I don't think it, the science says. But even is the best way for us and our planet to survive better. But again, as I go over this, think of this for yourself. If you have goals and directions that you want to take that you're thinking, oh, I don't know what to do with all of this, maybe there's something in it for you. As I'm speaking, I'll be thinking of more that might be in it for me. And it's just a really good reminder of the power we have. So I'm going to give you snippets of this talk. It was, what was it, an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes, something like that. And you can go back and listen, but this time apply it to where you are and as you are right now. So there were 2 things she said that allowed her to be successful, and this is Emma Greed. Um, she said, number one, take responsibility for your actions. Go for excellence at whatever you do. What would it be like? What would it look like if you decided to do everything you do with excellence? And I'm going to be giving you examples. One example she gave, because she's in her 40s, or is she in her 30s? And Up until this point, oh, she's only been in America 8 years, where she really had her big explosion of success. But she said up to that point, she did all sorts of, as she called it, menial tasks. Um, and I'll let you listen and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But every one of those she decided to do with excellence, because by doing that, it trained her not only to do her very best all the time, but then she says in here, when you do things excellently, it inspires others and it attracts them to you. So you attract the people that can help you most when you are doing your very best. Loved that. Um, an example, a simple example here, and I'll give you more kind of sprinkled in, is instead of thinking or saying, I don't have the time to exercise, you look at it as, I haven't made exercise a priority, but I'll see what I can do now. In other words, take responsibility, and you'll hear more of that. And then the other one was first take responsibility, and then number one, take control of what you think. Actually, I was driving and listening to this, and when I heard that, I thought, this isn't a new concept, but you know what? Because I talk about all the time, um, reframing uh, things that you may feel that you have a thought about, you quite often a negative thought, and then you reframe it, and the way you look at it differently can help you see it positively. This was even different than that, taking control of what you think. Your thoughts shape your emotions, which shape your actions. And if you don't manage your mindset, it will manage you. How it looks in life is something like if it's raining and you're thinking, boy, this is a miserable day, you can instead look at it differently and think, rain nourishes everything. I'll use this day to recharge. An example, and I'll give you more. Um, Emma Grebs says her success comes down to those two things: take responsibility, take control of your thoughts. And that means shifting from blaming to owning, and from automatic negative thoughts to intentional positive thoughts. For example, again, instead of I can't, we can think, here's what I choose. Instead of this ruins my day, we can think, this is how I'll make the most of it. So success isn't about waiting for life to get easier. It's about owning your choices and shaping your mindset. Responsibility puts you in the driver's seat, and controlling your thoughts keeps your hands steady on the wheel. So, some additional examples would be, as it relates to health, for example, taking responsibility for health. Instead of I can't eat, or yeah, I can't eat healthy because I'm too busy, we can say, I choose convenience foods today, but I plan to do better tomorrow. As it would relate to work, instead of my boss never gives me any opportunities, say, I haven't asked for opportunities or shown initiative yet, taking responsibility for actions and thoughts. Um, As it relates to relationships, we drifted apart. Instead of, I didn't put in the effort to stay connected. This just didn't work. Finances, instead of, I'll never get out of debt. I've been spending beyond my means. I can start making changes now. All of these examples help us put into a, a workable practice, the thought of a workable practice of how to apply all of this. Examples of controlling your thoughts, specifically in health. I'll never stick to a diet. Reframe it. I'm learning new habits, and progress is better than perfection. In work, I'm terrible at presentations. Reframe it. Every presentation is practice. I'm improving each time. Again, in relationships, don't care about, or they don't care about me. Reframe it. Maybe they're overwhelmed right now. I can reach out and I can show I care. And in daily life, traffic ruins my day. Reframe it. Traffic gives me time to listen to an audiobook or enjoy some quiet. Um, Taking responsibility is shifting blame to ownership. Taking control of your thinking is shifting the from defeats, this defeats me to this grows me. Both choices make every single, or wait, we can make these choices and um, discern what serves us best every day, all day long. I'm going to also give you a few of the most important statements I heard to me, or the ones that I was able to write down if I wasn't on my bike. And then I'll encourage you to go and listen. And then I'll encourage you to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay attention again to their conversation. And I'm going to try to, because I'm at that place where I'm saying, okay, 75 to me is a big deal because I've had 5 years with my book. I've had 5 years with my media channel, and I do cooking demonstration videos, and I do self-help videos, and I've run a couple of programs, and I do support groups at the clinic, and I have another group, quite frankly, right here in the background, our PowerPoint group that I've done for a year and a half, and we come together and we just talk about what matters to us, always looking for solutions. There's got to be something else, and I can't think of what it is at this point, but man, I'm determined. So again, I'll take your help. So here are the last few thoughts, and then we'll be done. Always be in practice. This is things Emma said. Always be in practice for who you want to be. And I'm going to repeat them. Always be in practice for who you want to be. Pursue the highest version of yourself that you can. Be your very best. Your most important relationship has to be with yourself. Go for excellence, not perfection. Excellence is different than perfection. And Mel Robbins actually stopped her and discussed this point because she said, so many of us are so obsessed with perfection that we can never be satisfied with ourselves. And excellence is different. Excellence is inside, not what you're expecting other people to see in you. But listen to her, and she explains that far better. Be excellent at whatever you do because it has a kind of a magnetic pull on other people. Whatever you're doing, um, consider what would this look like if someone was paying me $1 million to do it. Mel Robbins used an example of, I think he was an athlete, and I think he was a very successful athlete or writer or something, but he was no longer able to work in that capacity, or he couldn't get a job doing what he knew how to do best. And the only thing he was hired for was to sweep floors in a stadium, I think, something like that. And he made the decision instead of, because he had gone from very wealthy to nothing, and he made the decision that if he had to sweep, he was going to sweep floors better than anybody had swept floors. In other words, he was going to do it as if someone was paying him $1 million to sweep those floors. Do you see what mindset? Do you see what your thoughts and controlling them can do for our evolution? And then finally, and this is the final thought because it's a reminder of what began this conversation, anything is possible when you put your mind to it. Choose your thoughts carefully. Anyway, that's it. It was as simple as that. Um, what we do with it and how we use it is, oh, I'm getting a package, 3 packages by a very cute guy. Anyway, I'm in my office and I can see the front door from the side window. Thank you, fella. Okay, that's all. I hope you got something out of this. I appreciate your being here. Please, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, that matters. And I hope you have a great day. I know I'm going to. And thank you for joining me. All right, bye bye.